There's nothing worse than being on a date and feeling the energy completely stall. 1 second you're both smiling and chatting, and the next it's just silence. Your mind goes blank, you start overthinking, and suddenly the whole moment feels awkward. We've all been there, and it can make you dread dating altogether. But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to keep the conversation flowing so naturally that you never have to fear those awkward silences again, and you'll always know what to say next. I'm going to introduce 3 techniques to keep the conversation going when you're on a date. The first one is called the Ford technique. This technique is very easy to remember because Ford is an acronym, and each letter stands for a topic that you can initiate conversation with. It's like having a secret conversation map in your pocket. F is for family. Ask about siblings, childhood memories, or family traditions. You want to make your date feel that you're interested to know about their family, so ask how many siblings do they have? What are their fondest memories in childhood? Or what are their family traditions, especially on holidays and birthdays? O is for occupation. Talk about what they do for work or their dream job. You may want to mention first what you do for a living, and then ask them what they do for work. If their current work is their dream job, how long have they been in that position, or do they aspire for another field of opportunities? R is for recreation. Share hobbies, favorite pastimes, or weekend activities. You may share first what your hobbies are to make your date open for sharing as well. What their favorite thing to do leisurely after work to pass the time or on weekends. You might find that you have similar interests in sports or in the types of movies they love to watch. Perhaps you could set a weekend to do the same activity together, and that would be another opportunity for a date. D is for dreams. Explore life goals, travel plans, or bucket list items. You might want to discuss together in broad topics some life goals, what each one of you look forward to happen in few years, any travel plans, or if you have specific places to visit, mention some of your bucket list items to initiate openness on the topic. You could share your timeline if you're up for it, like in a span of 5 years, where do you want to be, or what do you want to do? With the Ford, the topics are safe, personal, without being too intrusive, and open-ended enough to invite stories and shared experiences. They help you discover common ground while keeping the conversation light and engaging. The common mistakes to avoid with this type of conversation is 1. Turning it into a checklist interrogation such as, "Okay, next, your job?" Try to avoid getting to that tone. 2. Staying too surface level without showing genuine curiosity, like you move fast to the next topic without making follow-up questions. 3. Talking only about yourself without asking follow-up questions. You might forget to ask your date what's their thought or if they have ideas to pitch in. 4. Pushing for overly personal or sensitive details too soon. Sometimes when we are in the midst of our thought, we forget that it might be a sensitive question for the other person, so be careful. To keep the topic going once it starts, 1. Use active listening. Pick up on little details they mention and ask about them. 2. Share your own relevant story or opinion to create a back-and-forth flow. 3. Ask why or how questions to deepen the conversation naturally. 4. Link topics together. If they talk about a hobby, recreation, you can segue into a dream trip or future goal. Dreams. This technique would naturally fit to talk about when you're sipping coffee at a cozy cafe or when your date mentions their sister just got engaged. You could say, "Oh, that's exciting. Are you too close? Are you part of the entourage?" which opens the family topic. From there, the conversation might drift into wedding plans, dream travel spots, or fun family traditions. Ford doesn't have to be in a systematic order, but make it a great guide what topics to talk about at certain times. Now, if you think this is the only conversation that can totally spark up a date, just wait until you hear my second technique, which is called wildcard questions. The wildcard questions are a handful of fun conversation questions in your back pocket. They are ready and easy to pull out whenever there's a pause. They're light, engaging prompts that can spark curiosity and laughter, helping you keep the mood easy and enjoyable. Here are some examples of the fun questions that could spark curiosity. If you could live in any movie, which would it be? If we had to plan a spontaneous trip right now, where would we go? If you could instantly master any skill, what would it be? What's the most random thing you've ever eaten or tried? If your life had a theme song, what would it be? Would you rather explore outer space or the deep ocean? What's the weirdest or funniest thing that's happened to you this year? These questions keep the energy flowing without feeling forced. This shows how you're thoughtful and prepared, and invite your date to share playful or personal tidbits. Personally, this is my favorite technique because it's spontaneous and free-flowing, and it will show how fast we think or how creative we are in answering. Because they're open-ended and unexpected, they can lead to surprising and memorable moments. They're quick to ask, fun to answer, and often lead to deeper conversation. The common mistakes to avoid with this type of conversation are: 1. Firing off too many at once, making it feel like a quiz show. Do not ask another questions when your date couldn't respond quickly. Give time for the other person to think and pause. It would be wise to answer it first to give your date a chance to think. 2. Choosing overly deep or controversial questions too early. 3. Ignoring or rushing past their answers instead of building on them. 4. Using generic overused questions that sound rehearsed. In order to keep the conversation going once it starts, respond to their answer with genuine interest and a follow-up question. Share your own answer to the same question. It keeps things balanced. Let one question naturally branch into a related topic. Use humor and personal stories to keep the tone light and warm. This technique would naturally fit into a date when you're walking together after dinner and a brief silence falls. You smile and say, "Okay, random question. If you could live inside any movie for a year, which one would it be?" They laugh, pick a film, and suddenly you're both talking about favorite movies, dream adventures, and childhood favorites. Now, before I get into the next conversation technique, which will totally change how you look at first date conversations, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so your next date goes off without a hitch. So my third conversation technique is called Ask Back Game. The Ask Back Game is all about turning your date's answers into a natural loop of conversation. Whenever they share something, you respond briefly with your own thought or experience, then toss the spotlight back to them with a related question. Example, for travel and places date. I went to Italy last summer. You: that's amazing. I went a few years ago and still dream about the pasta. Which city did you enjoy the most? For hobbies and free time date. I've been getting into hiking lately. You: nice. I did a trail last month that had the best sunset view. Where's your favorite place to hike so far? You could try to be a little playful, flirty too, but this will depend on the comfortability level of your date. Date: I like your smile. You: thanks. You should have seen me smiling when you walked in. What made you smile today? Or date: I'm pretty good at karaoke. You: oh, I might need proof. What's your go-to song and would you dare sing it for me right now? And date: I'm good at reading people. You: dangerous skill. So, what's your read on me so far? This technique makes the conversation feels like a true exchange rather than a one-sided monologue. By reflecting interest in what they just said, you show you're engaged and value their perspective while keeping the flow steady and balanced. Some common mistakes to avoid with this type of conversation are making it sound scripted or robotic instead of genuine, repeating the same question structure over and over, asking something unrelated to what they just said, responding only with "cool" or "me too" without adding a personal touch. By listening for details you can build on, places, hobbies, experiences, topics that you can ask your date and keep the topic going. Share a short, relevant story of your own before asking back. Use varied follow-up styles. Mix in how, why, and when questions. Link their answer to another topic so it naturally branches out. When your date says, "I just got back from hiking in Colorado," you reply, "Nice, I love hiking. Last time I went, I accidentally took the wrong trail and found this gorgeous hidden waterfall. What's the best hike you've ever been on?" Suddenly, you're both swapping stories and laughing over nature mishaps. Remember, awkward silence doesn't mean your date is going badly. It's just a signal to bring a little curiosity, playfulness, and genuine interest back into the moment. Whether you're using the Ford technique, pocket questions, or the Ask Back game, the goal isn't to fill every second. It's to create moments where you truly connect. So next time you're on a date, relax, listen, and let the conversation flow. And hey, Sometimes, the most meaningful moments happen in comfortable silence, too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But wait, tap subscribe now and make awkward dates a thing of the past.